Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and it's time for part 2 of the Monday Q&A, so let's get to it. First question. What do you think about Low Carb Cory? Is there any truth to what he says about fasting boosting HGH? I think it's bullshit. I don't want to really get into a big discussion on Cory specifically. Let's really just talk about the growth hormone thing. Now, I will be the first to admit there's a lot about fasting and intermittent fasting that we don't know. We are still trying to study it. There appears that there may very well be some solid health benefits to this. I personally use it. I feel from my own anecdote that it helps with my own medical condition to some extent. I see a noticeable difference. Could it be placebo? Absolutely. But I feel a difference, so therefore I work with it. Now, as far as the HGH boosting goes, maybe it does seem to slightly boost HGH. But it may only be in a wave, meaning once you hit your feed state, you probably have a bigger drop in HGH. So your net HGH probably doesn't change dramatically. You're just seeing transient fluctuations. Now that becomes important because transient fluctuations in hormones don't seem to affect body composition. Now the other thing to consider is that HGH itself, in the normal ranges that our body can produce, doesn't seem to affect body composition, and even injecting it at doses 2 or 3 times higher than what the body is capable of producing, if you do not combine it with testosterone or anabolic steroids, doesn't actually seem to do anything for building muscle. It seems to help build connective tissue a little bit, things like that, but it doesn't really affect body composition noticeably from what we can see in the research. So even if you are boosting your HGH production a little bit, it's not really doing anything for body composition. It might be having some positive benefits, but that's not one of them. The research indicates that it doesn't even when we inject it in doses in people that are pretty high. So I would say that you're not necessarily going to see a benefit here, but it's not to say that there aren't some benefits to intermittent fasting. It's a whole another topic, though. It's way more than I can cover here, and even I don't have all the answers there. We're just going to have to let people continue to research it and see where the research goes with it. But some of it looks interesting and promising. All right, next question. Only have access to 2.5 kilogram plates in your Novice program. Actually, this person, I answered them in the comments already, and they've corrected this. I told them, no, you don't. If you can afford protein shakes, you can afford a gym membership, you can go get some little microplates for a few dollars. You can order them online. You can take them with you to the gym so that you can microload. And anybody should have microplates. If you're serious about training really hard and the ability to improve yourself over time and do microloading with different lifts, you're going to need some little plates or some little magnets to stick on dumbbells or whatever so that you can change weights in small increments. And a lot of people do this, and you just take them with you to the gym if your gym doesn't have them. But it shouldn't cost you more than $5 to $10 for some microplates. So if you can afford a gym membership, you can come up with that. It's part of your basic gym equipment. It should never be an issue for anyone who already has access to weights or a gym. All right, next question. Is it possible to lift heavy for years, 600 plus pounds deadlift, 550 plus squat, 350 plus bench, and not have joint pain the rest of your life? I'm getting real close to all of those numbers myself right now. I've actually passed the deadlift in the last year. I'm 37 years old. I previously, in my 20s, had bench pressed 475 pounds raw. I have reverse benched 500 pounds. I have done 585 for 3 reps on a squat without a belt. I don't have any joint pain. So the very obvious answer to the question is yes, as long as your training is correct, your programming is correct, you don't injure yourself, there's no reason that you can't get strong, lift very heavy, and not have joint pain, because I certainly don't have any. But I've also been fortunate enough in my training methods and my genetics and other things to where I haven't sustained any joint or connective tissue injuries other than my bicep rupture. And for the record, this does still bother me. If I do certain types of training methods and things, my arm will throb so bad that I can't even move it. I wouldn't even be able to brush my teeth with this hand or hold a phone or something the rest of the day if I train it incorrectly. So that does still bother me, but all my joints and stuff are fine. But overall, as long as you're avoiding injuries, training correctly, deloading correctly, taking care of yourself, you should be able to get quite strong and not have issues. Alright guys, that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it has been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.